Hi everyone, Dennis here. I've been successfully working in the tech space for over 10 years now, working at big companies such as Google for 8 years, and as well as smaller startup companies as well. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is top 10 interview questions. So number one, one of the most asked questions is tell me about yourself. This question, top tip, make sure that you do not talk too long and that the interviewer can actually interrupt you where needed. Don't just list out every step by step on your CV, but actually give some good stories about where you got to in your career to date. So make sure you're prepared to give that 2-minute answer version or a 5-minute answer version. I would probably land somewhere near 2-3 minutes in total to give that background story. And hopefully, if it's longer, the interviewer can ask you some questions to dive in some places. Okay, question number 2. Why should I hire you? Usually an interviewer, when they ask this question, usually it's near the end of the interview, but they really want to see, do you want this? Do you have passion for this role? Do you think you're a really good fit? And you need to demonstrate to them why you think you are. That can be based on your experience, or if there's no experience, it's more entry level, just why you think you have the skills that can really master this role, and how you will be a passionate, hard-working individual. I always think is something great to get across, if that is what you are, and be authentic in that answer as well. Okay, so number 3, strengths. Yeah, strengths question will come up a lot of the times. Make sure that you have a pre-prepared answer for this, but you tell it in a way that you is not fully rehearsed and practiced to death, but it actually seems authentic when you tell that answer. Make sure you list those strengths, 2 to 3 kind of tops, with examples. Make sure you have examples. Question number 4, that question about your weaknesses. What are your biggest weaknesses? This question, you ideally want to talk about a weakness, but flip it into a positive. Something like, something that I've used from time to time is, a weakness is, I find sometimes I take on too much, which means that I've had to get much better prioritizing. And it doesn't seem like too much of a weakness then if you actually realize it, identify it, and overcome it. You don't want to tell anything which might mean that you're not capable to do the job, but think about the weaknesses you have really honestly, and think about 1 or 2 that you think would be good to talk about, that you've worked on and you've overcome a little bit as well. So question number 5, why would you want to work here? That question of, once again, it's kind of like, why should we hire you? It's kind of like, I want to work here because I think it seems like a great company, because I think that I will be able to master the role here. All of the reasons why that person who's interviewing you will think you're such a great fit for the role. So then question number 6, your greatest accomplishments. So this question is, what are your greatest accomplishments at work? In your previous experience, you should have 1 or 2 good examples of something that you've done with a big impact at a company. Ideally at a company like this company, if you have that kind of experience. If it's more of an entry-level job in terms of your greatest accomplishments, maybe you haven't worked much before. So talk about something that's relevant. Maybe it's like working in a team, maybe it was something you did in school or university, or an accomplishment from your hobbies, such as a sports achievement, or something that you've done outside of actually the working space. Okay, so then biggest success. Another thing about, what's been your biggest success to date in your working career, outside of your working career. Make sure, once again, you've rehearsed that answer. I think another big one is, tell me about a difficult situation you've had at work before, or outside of work. What the interviewer really wants you to do with a difficult situation, they want to see that you overcame that, or what you've actually taken as the steps to have a difficult situation, overcome it, and have a good outcome if there is. Or if there was a really bad outcome, what kind of learnings you had from that you would actually learn from, that you wouldn't do again. People love to hear the learnings that you've had from previous experience. And then the question of, one other one, number 9, is what are you passionate about? is a great question that people ask sometimes. With what are you passionate about? Think about what is it that you that really you think that you're really great at, and make sure that you give a good answer with that and why. The big thing is why. They don't want to just hear what you're passionate about, but why you are passionate about these things. Really, someone's asking that to understand what kind of a person you are. And then lastly, but this one comes up a lot, it's like that question of where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Depending on the job. If it's an entry-level position, you don't want to say that you're going to be the CEO. You're not. If it's a large company, you're not going to get to the CEO of a 500 plus person company within an entry-level job initially. So really be kind of realistic. Maybe that is the manager's role in that company, or maybe you have a great idea of where you really want to get to in 5 years. And if you can really tell that story passionately and you really know where you want to get to, then tell that. I think definitely be prepared. You can't answer that question with you no idea. You have to have pre-prepared that question, whether it's 5 years or 10 years. And the interviewer is really looking for someone who has ambition and has a clear idea of what they want in terms of what next and their goals professionally. So that's it. My top 10 tips. Good luck with the interview. Let me know if you get the job in the comments below, and what other videos you would like me to do. Thank you. Bye.